Hello. Today I want to discuss the different kind of opposition that you face when you're working for social justice, where that is coming from, and perhaps a bit on how to deal with them and how to contextualize them. So I think roughly I will go in one direction. I will go from the most antagonistic, most right wing, most anti social justice kind of opposition to towards then I'll talk about people who are political centrist, all of that kind of opposition, to slightly more complicated people who talk the language of social justice but then act in different ways kind of problems, to eventually about people who are actually doing their own bit towards social justice but have slight differences and how we can collaborate with them. And so that's the direction I'll take. So firstly, there are these people who are completely against any kind of work towards social justice, equity, any kind of work on equal status in the society between anything, be it gender, be it caste, be it class. These are people who are gonna say that it's wrong, it's absolutely incorrect to work on these. It's gonna cause a problem. It's gonna cause a lot of problems. It's gonna destabilize the society. It is unnatural. So these are the kind of people who we typically call right wing, because they believe in this idea that an unequal society is what is natural, and not just that it needs to be preserved as an unequal society, and that going against it is harmful. So these people, perhaps they're coming from a scarcity mindset, or an idea that there's not enough for everyone on this earth, and therefore some people will naturally have more, and there's not enough for others, and therefore if you try to redistribute wealth, for example, they're afraid that those who have it won't have it anymore, and they basically think it's a pointless idea and that it's dangerous, therefore. So if they are actually people who think they should do things so that the idea is protected, they will become active Sanghis. They will become members of RSS, or active campaigners for BJP, or I mean, I'm talking in the Indian politics context, but in various other ways. They'll be casteist, they'll be actively propagating caste-based things, or men's right activists, or if it's America, white supremacists, or things like that. So the challenge with them is they are so far embedded or drenched in this kind of thinking that it's completely impossible to undo the damage that has been done to their mind. I don't know what childhood influences have affected this kind of insecurity and hatred for others, but the more we try to do something to them, the more radical they become. The kind of approach that has worked best, I believe, is there are at least two different kind of approaches. One is to completely ignore them and go ahead with our own politics, and then become make it work. So these people wouldn't have a voice, or wouldn't be consulted. Like they would just have to sit and watch. So that is one kind of approach. The other is there's this approach done by someone called Daryl Davis, who's a black person with the Ku Klux Klan members in America, wherein they were really nice to them. They would invite these white people to their home, give them tea, coffee, and then talk to them and be nice to them, and then through this kindness and love change those people. So and he has made some 200 Ku Klux Klan members quit, give up the robe, and be normal people. So this of course takes a lot of energy, lot of time, lot of compassion, lot of love, and all of that. So in general, it's very difficult to achieve that, and I think it's best to ignore those people and not engage with them, not radicalize them more. Just go about with your own politics without much engagement. Um, then there is the second type of people who are apolitical. Apolitical people are basically right-wing people who do not want social change, but who also want to not sound like they're against social change. So these people are typically the educated upper class, the educated as in the degree holding upper class, who are probably wealthy, who are probably on the path to being wealthy, who are in the hustle culture, who are embroiled in capitalism, who are trying to make money and have a comfortable life, and they are in that logic, and they believe in meritocracy, and they are always going behind um, rich people as having the merit, or having been smart, or having been lucky, and therefore they're rightfully at the position of richness, and that then these people are also um, hesitate to acknowledge, not just hesitate, they deny privileges, they deny that they have any privilege, they deny any of the kind of advantages they have in society, or disadvantages others have. So they completely ignore all of those, and they refuse to see iniquity, they refuse to call out iniquity. We could think of them as people who believe iniquity is fine, that the society will inherently be hierarchic, or we could think of them as people who cannot see it because of their ignorance, uh, because of them having no desire to see it. We could think of them as that. So an explanation for this is basically that they're comfortable, and that they have things in their life, and they just want more things for themselves. So we could call them selfish also. They are not interested in the society, they are not interested in larger things out there. They are only worried about how they are going to make more money, or have a comfortable life, and so they'll keep thinking about that. And in that process, all of these social justice related work and any activism towards that sounds to them threatening, in that they would have to either change their views, or they would have to participate, or they would have to oppose it. All of this is uncomfortable for them, because it would basically destroy their calm. So what these people do is, typically they do tone policing. They ask people to refrain from politics. They ask you, why are you making it political unnecessary? Why are you interested in drama? They call you emotional. They call you self-centered. They call you as insulting those who are rich. They call you to be ungrateful to the rich, or to the powerful. So a lot of these people who on Twitter, who are like saying, India is a great country, why are you being so ungrateful to India? You're not proud of being an Indian. This is so bad, and all of that. So basically, they don't want you to tell anything bad, because they don't want to change anything. They're comfortable with the status quo, and they want to just go ahead with their lives. So with these people, the challenge with these people is, if we do not engage, they would seem very graceful, very nice, they would speak very nice language, and they would seem very balanced and composed, and therefore the audience, the whole crowd has a tendency to side with them. So if you do not engage with these people very tactfully, the whole crowd becomes attuned to this logic, and start opposing your actions, your thinking, and start basically become against social justice. So with these people, the challenge is that we have to not lose calm. We have to be very, very graceful, mirror their grace. So if someone is being graceful and you are appearing angry, then it's easy for them to twist your words and say you are angry, you are making this political, and all of that. So we have to be balanced. It's very frustrating, but we have to do that. We have to keep our cool and engage with them. But when we are engaging, we should be really careful not to accept their logic. We question them directly in their root. So if someone is talking, so let's say you are trying to create an inclusivity mechanism in a space, in a community, and then someone is like, why are you making it so drama, you are interested in drama or something like that. So the response you would have to bring up, don't try to directly address their comments, but question where they come from. Ask them is if they are interested in social justice. Ask them if they are interested in inclusivity. Ask them if they believe that there are people who are discriminated and that these people need to be brought into the community and things like that. So a lot of times, so this can go either way. A lot of times people are actually interested in all of those, or at least they say that they're interested in those, and they're just uncomfortable with the idea of activism as a way to achieve that. So then you can basically talk to them in private, give them hope, give them courage, give them show them the way and make them be on your side. But if they are the other side, if they are basically right-wing people in disguise, then we would have to expose them for who they are and basically keep questioning and making them make them come out with their inward check, what they have inside, which is that they believe in an unequal society and that they want that to be that way. So we might have to bring it out. If we are not able to bring it out, we will not be able to address their arguments. So those people are also kind of very frustrating, but we can somehow deal with them. Now, personally, for me, the next section of people are the most frustrating and the ones which I have no idea how to deal with, and I've had the most trouble dealing with, which is these are the people who say they are for social justice, who use the words like equity, social justice, and doing good for the world and all of those words, but they are actually ignorant. They are very hypocritical. They're very superficial. They're internally arrogant. Although they might be very humble, they use words like "I'm so humble, I don't know what to do, I am not going to tell you, I'm not going to prescribe solutions" and all that. But internally, they are very arrogant. They believe that they know all the answers, that they're doing the absolute right things, and they keep switching between the what they're saying and what they're doing are completely opposite. So they will keep saying, I want to unlearn, I want to relearn, I want to learn from you and all of that, but then they never show any change. They never show any growth. They never show they never tell, okay, I learned this from you and I've now changed my position. So and then these are the people who are like, another example would be, they'd be like, community is great, community, we need to learn from the community, we need to be involving them. Democracy, they talk about democracy and the participation and all of that, and then when it comes to decision making, there's nothing. They just make decisions and go ahead with it without even having to explain it to others or win over others. So another example would be people who do work on equity, academics, researchers, scholars, people who work on equity. It's easy to find white scholars as examples, but I'm going to use Indian scholars. There are so many Indian scholars who are like, I believe in equity, I want to, Dalits, Adivasis, I want to be more, I want to do advocacy towards improving health equity and all of that. But then the way they do it and the kind of work they do is all write papers, publish. So when you're talking to them directly, it is very difficult to understand these people are hypocritical from outside, because in their writing they're all very radical, very progressive and all of that. So the only way we can understand is when we closely talk to them, closely work with them. We'll see that their priorities are really slightly different. It's also possible to see if their actions are not in accordance with that. So if someone is saying, I want to work against caste, and then at the same time all their co-authors are always dominant caste, then we know for a fact that their praxis is different. The practice is different from what they are preaching. So these people, the way to deal with them is the hardest problem in present society, because if you fight them, there will be 100 people to defend them. There will be 100 people to tell that you are doing the wrong thing, and that you're being rude, you're being unnice. So I know a lot of people who have been in that position. I have also been in that position of having to call out someone who appears to be great to the vast majority of the world, and then you being singled out as someone who is opposing this so-called nice person. And so the challenge here is to identify ways in which we can protect ourselves from the damage that is going to be coming towards our way when we do this. We can't ignore all the bad things that these people do. Maybe perhaps call out people at their worst when they're doing something really bad. Call them out at that point. Call them out in defendable ways. Don't make it very obvious that you're calling them out. You ask questions. You ask. You make it in a question form. You make it in a constructive form, and then let them think. Maybe they will change. Maybe they won't, but maybe they will change. I know this is very frustrating. I have not followed this advice a lot of times myself. I have been very frustrated and called out people because despite multiple times doing this nice thing, they won't come clean. They won't change. So what to do with these people is really difficult. We can draw boundaries. We can engage with them only to the extent we can or we want to. We can do only the things that we agree with, and then draw a clean boundary and say, no, I can't do it from beyond this point. And so those are the kind of ways we can address them. Basically, stay out of it. Don't get your mental health ruined by engaging too intensely with these people. Recognize them for the hypocrites they are. Recognize them as the hypocrites they are. Recognize them for how they will tell something and do something else, and then work around that. Try to see if there's a way to work through that, work around that, and do just enough to engage a bit, but not enough to cause yourself harm. So don't get unproductive yourself. Don't engage too much that you lose your strength to do more things, and rather focus on your own things. So do great things, and then let others learn from you and change that. So, and then the last kind of people I want to talk about is people who are actually working towards social justice, but talking about it and doing it the right way, but their politics is either focused on one particular thing. Like this happens a lot in caste and gender. So there are feminists who are only interested in gender. There are anti-caste activists who are only interested in caste. So typically, I mean, ideally, the feminists would also be interested in caste, disability, everything, and anti-caste people would be interested in gender, class, everything. But because of the nature of these topics and how pervasive these are and how huge these are, how huge of a problem these are, people sometimes think only in terms of that particular dimension. So what happens is those who are anti-caste, for example, they might make misogynistic remarks because they're actually calling out the Savarna women who are being casteist. So their anger is against casteism, but it's focused on Savarna women because these women are into feminism. So basically, because feminists who do not understand caste are a bit frustrating, these people become misogynist, and then they do not understand gender. So, and vice versa. I mean, it happens across in all kinds of dimensions. So there are feminists who are casteist because they don't understand caste, and therefore they talk. The feminists who are trans exclusive. There are a lot of them, if we all know, and there are all kinds of problems all across. So this lack of intersectionality, if one may say, causes a slight disagreement, not slight, a lot of disagreement among people who are already working towards social justice. So there what can be done is engage respectfully, because we know that the other person is also doing something and then they're focused on a particular thing, and call out on this lack of intersectionality if possible, in private maybe, not, don't make a big deal out of it, or at least reduce the energy, and again collaborate on the things you can, and actually be in solidarity. Like you if someone is making a misogynist remark as an anti-caste activist, and you are a feminist, or you identify yourself as a feminist, stay in solidarity with their anti-caste work, support their anti-caste work, and then make them feel a bit conscious about what they're doing in their misogyny. So that is one approach that might work. The other is, of course, there are ways to support anti-caste work without having to justify misogyny. So we can find more other people who are both anti-caste and feminist, or supporting everything. So that is the other way of getting things done. So those are the four kinds of people. Thanks for watching. I'll come back in another video.